As the title implies, I just got back from the Mario movie. And even though I don't really give my thoughts on movies, I like movies, I watch a lot of movies, and this is a game-related movie, so I felt, you know what, yeah, sure. Kind of like a Moist Critical style review, I guess. Overall, I thought the movie was pretty good. I mean, it didn't really stand out as much. Like, the story itself, I should say, didn't really have anything, like, super special or, like, unique, or it wasn't, like, crazy or mind-blowing or anything. But I mean, it's kind of like what you would expect from a movie made for children to watch. Early on, there was something weird that, like, physically felt weird. And that was how they had a few scenes where Mario and Luigi had no gloves on, and they had, like, little actual human hands, and that just threw me off. More so just because I'm not used to seeing that. I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure the dad was voiced by Charles Martinet, like the actual voice of Mario, for anyone who doesn't know. So that was cool. I do think the best part about this movie, like the thing that stood out the most to me, that made it super enjoyable, was the amount of references. Pretty much everything was a reference. This could be just reference the movie, essentially. Like, you couldn't go, like, an entire scene without at least 10 references, it felt like. Which I thought was a good thing, by the way. I thought it was really nice just seeing all, like, the kind of, like, nostalgia type of stuff, right? It was really hitting home on that. I think the sickest thing for me was the music. It felt like almost every, like, soundtrack in this movie, which there was a lot of, by the way, was a remix of music that was used in previous games. And that was really sick to hear. Like, for example, they'll be walking on their way to the Mushroom Kingdom Castle, and Peach's Castle theme, like a remix version, will play. A lot of the power-ups and references were cool. I mean, I know I'm talking a lot about the references, but that's kind of the gist of it. Other than that, it kind of, like, felt like... It followed a very safe and not very risky type of storyline. So, I mean, it just kind of... I mean, it did its job. To get into a little bit of spoilers here, I guess to give, like, the basic gist of the plot, Bowser captures the invincibility star and is using that as kind of like a wedding gift to Peach, going on that whole Mario Odyssey wedding reference. Then it cuts to Mario and Luigi, who are doing an ad to promote their plumbing business, and the ad was basically just the theme song from, like, that old Mario show from way back then that I used to watch as a kid. And then as the sewers are flooding, Mario and Luigi go to, like, fix it, and then they get sucked into a warp pipe, which takes them through, like, a crystal pipe from 3D World, I think. I mean, it could just be, like, an air pipe or something, but it seemed like it might have been a reference. There's a lot of things in this that seems like, oh, that could be a reference, could not. They get split up, Luigi gets captured, Mario ends up with Peach. Peach, realizing Bowser's taken the star, wants to stop him by uniting with the monkeys. Bowser's whole thing in this is kind of, like, meh, though, right? Like, that's probably the one thing I don't like. Jack Black did really good with the voice acting for Bowser. But it's just, a lot of the things with Bowser, his main motivation and his entire character trait is, he's horny for Peach. He wants her Peach. That's all he does. There was even a point in this movie where he had an entire, like, minute-long song where he just keeps repeating Peach, Peach, Peaches, 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 and all that type of stuff. And the entire, like, thing of him stealing the star is to present it as a wedding gift to her, and then they were gonna have a marriage and all that, and that's about it. That's all he's got. Hey, I'm just gonna put this back on and act like no time has passed because I forgot to mention something, because I didn't, and no time has passed as I look the exact same now as I did, like, 30 minutes, 10 just now when I did that. Anyways, so I should probably address that whole, like, Chris Pratt voice thing, because... You know, honestly, as fun as it is to shit on Chris Pratt for, oh my god, you sound terrible in this, nothing like Mario at all, not my Mario, he's actually fine. Like, it never gets to a point where it just feels, like, out of place, really, or at a point where it's like, ugh, this feels terrible. No, I take that back. There was one point when I was like, ugh, and that was when I had to hear Chris Pratt, as he got the Katsu power-up, go, meow, and ugh. It just, that was the only point. Other than that, the rest of the movie, he sounded fine. And what helps is that nearing the beginning, during that, like, whole ad that they were doing of the original Mario Bros. Theme song and all that, you had Chris Pratt put on, like, an actual, like, trying to sound like the video game Mario before going into actual how it sounds for the rest of it. And yeah, you know, thinking about it, if he went with that the entire movie, like the actual, like, Mario one, that would have probably gotten very fucking annoying. So I am kind of glad he just went with a lot more tame version. Mario and Peach go to Kong Island. They have the funny DK rap playing. That was sick to hear. Mario faces off against DK a bit, using a bunch of different power-ups. Then they all have, like, a little, like, racing scene where They all get on like carts, go across Rainbow Road, and all throughout Rainbow Road, Bowser had some of his minions on cart, and they had a whole Mario Kart reference. A lot of the Kong Island was DK and Mario Kart references. Then there was like a point when Mario and DK got separated from all of them, and they had to use like a little barrel to fly, which was another Donkey Kong reference. Again, references the movie, but don't get me wrong, I did like it. I liked the references. That was kind of like the best part. Again, it seems like a very safe movie to where kids can just kind of sit through mindlessly and enjoy it as like, those types of plots. But others can also enjoy it just based on the huge amount of, that game. Oh, that's the Dr. Mario theme? Oh. They even showed like Baby Peach, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi as like what I thought of as like a Mario Luigi Partners in Time reference. And I was like, that's cool. In the end, when Mario and Luigi were facing off against Bowser, they both grab him by the tail and start swinging him and go with the so long gay Bowser, jump up and hit him with the forward air. And I was like, I was smiling. That was cool. That final fight for me, by the way, if they did a remix of the grand finale, I would have lost my shit. That would have been so hype. I would have outwardly screamed in the movie theater and then punched the guy next to me. That would have been so hype. They didn't, though. They didn't. Oh, the ending was kind of like weird, right? Because the ending didn't sit well with me. The one thing about the ending that didn't sit well with me is that the final conclusion for how they get around the whole Nintendo type of thing, you can't kill Bowser, this is a kid's movie, is they put Bowser in a jar. So that's a little weird that the entire conclusion is them putting Bowser in a jar, because they had him eat like a mini mushroom and then put him in a jar. That does something about that doesn't sit right. So I mean, overall, final thoughts. It was just kind of a nice, fun little movie to see. And if I were to follow through with the whole like Moist Critical type of Moist Meter ratings and give it a 1 through 100, I would probably go with maybe like a 75 or 80. Actually, it was pretty good, pretty fun. Is what I would say. But I actually didn't like this movie for one thing. The one reason, which just kind of shits on the entire movie, is they did not give Luigi his iconic candy cane striped socks. And that fucking sucked. Like, what the hell? How do you fail that?